I also got a fun
Interesting.
contrast
Okay.
between the two brothers. So you have Isaac who laughs,
Mm-hmm.
or his name is he laughs,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ishmael is God hears. So one is your ears, one is your mouth. But then he's crying here.
Yes.
God heard the boy crying,
Yes.
which is the opposite of laughing.
Mm.
And it was because it was his laughing that got them sent out to begin with. And now he's crying.
Wow.
So,
And that's good because I did read something that you're supposed to see the contrast between the two in this chapter,
Hmm.
mm,
right? You're supposed to see the contrast between the one Isaac, who is the one chosen, right, that the Lord's going to use, versus Ishmael, who isn't the chosen, but he's still Abraham's son. Yeah, that's interesting. That's some good writing right there. What's going on, XYZers and XYZ Nation? We're back in person.
Yeah.
I am excited. I didn't. It felt like the whole pandemic where I couldn't be by anybody. I'm just all right. So let me get back on track. So we're glad that you all are tuning in. We're glad. I'm glad. I don't know how everyone else feels that we're back in person. Of course, we miss our dear microwaver, but we know that she is in good hands and she's doing those things that she needs to do. So, Jasmine, we miss you, but you go take care of your business and be good. Stay out of trouble, please.
Relax. That's the
Yes,
real thing.
thank you. If you know, you know. All right. We'll get to this guy in the middle in a second. But before we do that, there's something that we're supposed to do, and that is to introduce ourselves. I am the latchkeyed one himself, the former X-Man representing Gen X all up in the area. And at the far end, we have.
I am Moya, the resident millennial,
Dun, 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 dun.
and together we are.
Yeah, generational scriptures. We
Yeah.
get to do that in person. See, we get to
Yeah.
do that in person again.
Yeah. That's Jasmine's line. That's why it's funny.
Yeah.
But we also have with me or with us today, Misan, who is our standing in Gen Zer microwaver. Yeah.
It's good
And
to be a microwave. That makes you a little younger, doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. And you want to introduce yourself?
yeah. All right, this is my time. Misan, like we said, Mayo's youngest brother. Uh, yeah, Gen Z, growing in the word. What else we got?
It's on you, bro. You want to
I
talk about
recently moved back to Maryland, so that's
it?
cool.
Okay. Okay.
Recently moved back,
Yeah.
so things are on the ups.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
ready to crack on with Genesis 21.
21.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. And you know what the title is of this episode? We had a baby. It's a boy. Y'all don't remember.
I don't know what that means.
Oh my goodness.
We had a baby. It's a boy.
Y'all don't remember that commercial?
It was a commercial.
Yes. Do y'all
From what
remember?
year?
What is
What is the commercial for?
See, I feel like they're gonna gang up on me. They already nepos over here. Um, nah, but do y'all remember like you used to have to make collect calls,
Okay.
right? And what they would do when you made a collect call was that they would ask you who's
Oh yeah,
calling,
yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And so the joke was that they show the guy in the delivery room with his new son. He calls his dad collect,
Mm.
and they ask him his name, and he says, "We had a baby. It's a boy."
Oh,
And then the dad says, "I don't want to accept the call." He hangs up. He tells his wife they had the baby. It's a
it's a
boy.
boy. Okay. That is not a commercial we ever saw.
Oh my goodness.
I seen it on Instagram.
I was about to say, how did you see it?
That's all right. Y'all can joke me. That's fine.
I'll look it up. You got to insert the clip somewhere.
It's still cute, I
Yeah.
think.
Had a baby. It's a boy.
I think.
Okay.
We had a baby. It's a boy. So, like we usually like to start our episodes, we want to do a recap, and we do that with Miss Moyo and the All Right, So Boom segments. So, Miss Moyo?
All right. So, chapter 20, we have Abraham moving to the Negev. Again, we don't know why this time. But they're traveling again. They run into King Abimelech, who they let him know, this is my sister, this is my brother, the same old situation. And he takes Sarah as his he takes her into his house. This time I don't think it's specified like as a wife like it did the first time. It just says he takes her.
Yeah.
Abimelech has this dream where God tells him, "You are a dead man." And he is like, "Wait a minute, I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything." He pleads with God. He's like, "I'm innocent." She said out of her own mouth, that's her brother. He said out of his mouth, that's her sister. So would you really punish me for not doing anything? And God is like, it's because of me that you haven't touched her, and I will like spare you all.
Yes.
But you need to return this woman to her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And Abimelech wakes up. He lets his people know, but he also confronts Abraham, and he's like, "What did we do to you? Like,
Right.
I don't understand why you would bring this upon us. Like, what did you see here that made you feel like you had to lie to us?"
Yep.
And Abraham basically was like, "I didn't feel like y'all feared God. Like,
Right.
I didn't feel like y'all feared God." And he just get same excuse that he gave the last time. Like, I just felt like that's what I needed to do to survive. And then he adds on the fact that, well, she is my sister technically. Like, she is my sister. We have the same dad, but not the same mom. So half truth, but not the whole truth. Abimelech he gives the Sarah back. He also gives them sheep, cattle, servants, the whole nine.
Yep.
And he gives to Sarah after his little shady comment about about her brother, like, "I'm gonna give you 1,000 pieces of silver, 1,000 shekels of silver."
Yep.
And this is basically saying, I haven't done anything with you.
Yep.
This is proof. This is me like clearing your name of any sort of sin or anything. And Abraham prays for Abimelech and his household, and everyone is healed, because we didn't know earlier, but no one in this household was able to conceive.
Right.
And so their wombs are opened back up.
Yep.
And then that indicated that Sarah was probably with them for a decent amount of time for them to even notice that that was something that was going on.
Right.
And that is where the chapter ends.
Yeah.
And we jump into chapter 21.
Chapter 21. The only other thing I would want to throw in there is the first time that we hear the Lord call Abraham a prophet.
Oh,
Is that in
yes.
here?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did talk about
We
that,
talked
because when
about
he says to Abimelech to go make sure you get Abraham to pray for you, he says because he's a prophet.
Right.
And we kind of talked about him being a prophet. The chapter that, I don't remember what chapter it is, but it's the chapter where he has he goes into the deep sleep.
Yeah, with the animals cut the covenant.
Yeah.
That is 15, I believe.
Okay. Yes. So we actually, I think that episode came out to you guys recently.
Yep.
Well, I guess it won't be recent by the time this one comes out, but we talk about that. So I would go back to that as well, because I didn't even realize when we were talking in our last week's episode that it was brought up already, like being a prophet and that idea. It just wasn't specifically stated in scripture yet.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Cool. Awesome as always. The All Right, So Boom segment, one of the highlights of the episode. So you ready to get into it?
Yes.
All right, let's get it.
All right. Genesis chapter 21, verses 1 to 7. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him whom Sarah bore him Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son at his old age.
All right. It's happened.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
And what sticks out to you in these couple of verses where we see Sarah being visited by the Lord?
Visited is interesting. And it was interesting. I think I did a little bit of research about it, but it's similar to when like Mary being visited and conceiving, but this is a little different because this is Abraham's child. So he's visited to maybe open her womb up, because we've known that she's barren since chapter 12. And it's kind of been a reoccurring, she can't have kids, but Abraham is supposed to have kids. And so it's interesting that also that they're repeating over and over, Sarah bore this kid to Abraham, Abraham's sons of Abraham, like born by Sarah. Like they repeated that so many times in these 7 verses to make sure that we're clear that this is Abraham and Sarah's son together.
Right. And I think that the visiting highlights the fact that he was told a year ago that I will come back. And so now, boom, the Lord is faithful to do what he says. He came back. She bore a son.
Yeah.
And then, is it me, or does it also make it seem like they say that they're just old a lot too in these couple verses?
Yeah.
So make no mistake that it was the Lord who did what he said he would do.
Yeah.
And what about Abraham, Misan? What do you see about Abraham? What's he got going on in there?
Abraham is an old man, but it is interesting that you point out that they say they're old a lot, because Abraham is the first person who's not gonna live to like 900.
Yeah, I think he's at what, 175? Is it?
Yeah, so he's in his late hundreds, I guess.
Yeah, he's 100.
He's 100.
He is 800.
So,
100.
and this is the first time 100 is old, whereas like other people, they 500,
true.
600,
Yeah,
900.
900. I want to say we had started to see times get shorter, but I want to say like the shortest we've seen as far has been like 3, maybe.
Yeah, I don't
Noah
remember
was
how-
6.
Yeah, what 600?
I can't remember any whether to just go straight from Noah to
Abram.
his sons and then to Abram. So yeah,
And even Shem and they lived for pretty long.
they may have been like 3 or something like that. But okay, cool. Do y'all see anything about Abraham? I can call him that now. His practices, like he's staying faithful to the Lord, right?
Yeah. So he circumcised his son
Right.
at the 8-day mark, like he was commanded to a few chapters ago.
Yep. So that being, and I've struggled with this as we've gone through, right? All right. Y'all not gonna tell me I'm off, but here it goes. So the call happens at 12, right? Abraham is called out. The covenant itself that's made, that I still say is one-sided, we see that formalized in 15. Even though I think the call was still sort of a covenant, just because God's not going to go back on what he called him to do and what he said he would bless him with. But it's sort of cemented in Abraham's mind, I'm sure, in 15. And then in 17, I believe it was, that's where we get the circumcision.
Okay.
Right? I think that's more of a sign of the people who are going to be, that are of this covenant that was made with Abraham. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, in that chapter, they say if you do not get circumcised, right, you won't take part in it.
Right.
So, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Where's the part that we're supposed to?
No, I thought that I was, because I've been going through this in my head, like, all right, the covenant happens, but we keep seeing over and over again. It's almost like if you don't put all of it together, it almost seems like the Lord is making a covenant each time he comes to him. Like, especially in 15 and 17. It almost feels like Like, I'm telling you, and this is what would throw me off. I'm telling you that you need to do this, but the covenant's already been made. So to me, I was struggling with, is the covenant made possible because they're going to be blameless and live a certain way in front of him?
No.
And I think I've just come to the conclusion, and it sounds like you all agree with me, that the Lord, yeah, he's going to command them to behave and to do certain things, but the covenant was established way back in 12, codified, if I can use that word, in 15 with the animals and the Lord going through as a smoking pot and I think it was just a flame, a torch or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sign of the people who are part of that covenant is given to Abraham for him to practice and for all those after him in 17. So anything that God is saying in terms of living blameless or following me or doing certain things, that's just what he wants for the people that are following him.
Yeah.
But the covenant has already been established
Yeah.
by the Lord, and it's still one-sided that the Lord is taking care of this. So
Yeah.
I have been struggling
Yeah.
with that.
And I think that makes sense. Because when Mom Coleman was on the last episode in her little cameo, but she was talking about how no matter what they do, so we kept talking about how Abraham keeps, it's like he's in it, but he's not in it, but it doesn't matter because the covenant isn't based on him.
Right.
The covenant is God's covenant to Abraham, not the other way around, or not. It's not both of them. Both of them aren't required to fulfill the covenant.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. All right. So I wasn't too far off there. The name. Did you all look up what his name means?
Yeah. He laughs.
Yep.
Yeah. Laughter.
Funny, I guess. Because she laughed. Well, first Abraham laughed and then she laughed. So now their son is named. He laughs.
And people will laugh.
And
Yeah.
Right.
But is it so Abraham laughs, it's because of the command that or the promise that he's gonna have a son, another son, and he kind of laughs and says, I already have a son, use Ishmael.
Right.
Sarah laughs because she's like, I'm old and I'm worn out, and you want me to have a kid, and thinks it's like, this is crazy.
Right.
And now she's like, everybody is gonna laugh when they see this old woman nursing a kid. Like, it's weird.
Right.
So, but I think it's also he laughs like it's also a joyous occasion.
Right.
In all of the times, like he laughs makes it could be positive and negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. And when I read it, at first I was like, they're laughing with her, right? Not at her. And then I started to think about, well, maybe it could be that she's thinking they're laughing at her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it can be taken either way.
Yeah.
It can be taken either way.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else in those verses we want to touch on?
No.
All right. Mr. Misan, you up?
Continuing. My Bible is a NLT, so I'm going to read from my phone, which is
okay.
ESV.
No, that's not allowed. How dare you? Nah.
Okay. Genesis 21, starting in verse 8. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, laughing. So she said to Abraham, Cast out this slave woman with her son, for the son of this slave woman shall not be heir with my son Isaac. And the thing was very displeasing to Abraham on the account of his son.
Oh, man. All right. So we get this happy time.
Yeah.
And then
Should be a good time.
it should be a good time. This is happening probably years later.
Yeah.
Because by this time they're weaned, which means they no longer need their mom. They should be eating some type of solid food, I believe. So we get some time that is passed here. But Sarah's still, I'm going to try and use this correctly, still on one.
Yeah.
Y'all think?
Yeah, she's...
Let it go, Misan. Talk about it, bro. What do you see?
She's kind of hating I mean, she even said in the previous text that everybody who sees her should laugh.
Uh-huh.
Now people are laughing. She's not liking it. She's not enjoying it. So,
Right.
like a little, I wouldn't even call it a tantrum. This is more than a tantrum. This is casting somebody out.
So when you see that word laughing, do you think that it's like, I think that, let me say it this way. I think that how you take this word laughing is almost like the mindset, how you think of Sarah, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Right? Because I've seen laughing as in just laughing, and I've seen laughing as in mocking,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if Ishmael is mocking her son, it doesn't seem nearly as bad.
Yeah.
But if Ishmael is just playing laughing, then it seems a little petty.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's laughing in a mocking way. Like that would be, I don't see why she would get that upset if it wasn't a mocking way. And we know she doesn't like Hagar and Ishmael, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I don't either, because I think the only way to really thinking while I'm talking, which is never a good thing, right? But if we go back to what is it, 16, we did say that it seemed like Sarah said it that the narrator said that Hagar was looking at her funny, and then Sarah said that. So we sort of thought that something was going on, even if it wasn't overtly spoken about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I'm falling back where you are. Like if there's probably something going on that's causing Sarah to behave this way.
Yeah. And if you think about how Agar behaved previously, I could see her son being just like her. Like that's who raised him.
Right.
So when Sarah initially kicked them out, they it was because Hagar felt like puffed up, like I'm basically the head of this house because I had a kid.
Right.
And Sarah was just like, no,
Yeah.
you don't, like, you are still who you are. I can do whatever I want with you. And it's still the case, but I feel like because her son is so much older, because at this point, Ishmael is at least 13. Well, I guess 14, because he was 13 when they were circumcised. So he's at least 14 now.
Yep.
So that's a little boy. Actually, no, more than 14, because we also have to add the years of
The
weaning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 16, 17.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, she probably feels like it's no way that this kid is gonna be over my son. And the son is probably like, I'm the big brother. I should be in charge.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I see it. Even though it's like, you all the siblings, you know how we do. I got a younger brother. We sort of pick sometimes at our younger brothers, and it's
Yeah.
how you treat siblings.
Yeah. It's like when we were younger, if let's say he was like cuddled up under our mom, we're gonna joke and be like, "Oh, look at the baby!" Like you're laughing and you're being like you're teasing,
Right.
but it's not nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But Sarah isn't. She don't play that. She
Like,
don't play that.
I am not having it.
Yeah.
I am not having it. Oh man.
And she's also thinking about the inheritance now.
Right.
Like she's like, wait a minute. Like
Right.
I don't want him to take part at all in this.
Yep.
Like this is just me and my son.
Mm, 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 mm. So she says to Abraham, kick her out.
Yeah.
Kick her out. And notice that she doesn't call her by her name at all. In this first part, there is no reference to Hagar by name. It's all this slave woman with her son. This for the son of this slave woman shall not be an heir. And what's surprising a little bit is, are you all surprised by Abraham's response to this?
I wouldn't say I'm surprised.
No.
I mean, it's his son.
Right.
And they would be relatively close.
Yep.
So you don't necessarily want to kick his son out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think about how he thought of Lot, and Lot is just his nephew.
True.
I don't think that Abraham would want to treat his son any less. If he did all of that for Lot, and even we were originally talking about the call, and he says, will this servant be my heir? So he had people that were close to him that weren't necessarily his own, like, I don't want to say flesh. They're flesh and blood, because Lot is his relative, but it's not the same as a child.
Right.
So it's still his child.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I'm not too surprised either. But what is interesting is, and we've touched on this before, Abraham don't care what's happening to Hagar.
Well, yeah.
He's displeased because of his son.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not nice, Chris. Bad, Chris. I shouldn't go that far, but it's just interesting
It
that
is.
he's not displeased because of what may happen to Hagar. He's displeased by his son.
Yeah.
I mean,
Based on what's read here.
he's never been too fussed about Hagar.
Yeah.
Or any women.
Or that's what I was getting ready to say. You don't know. I've had to try and stand up for Abraham. It's not been easy. It's because I don't have much to stand on when certain things get brought up. So
Yeah.
that's like, Misan gonna be here. I'm not gonna be alone.
I mean, it was a different time back then.
Yeah, it was. It was a way different time. It was a way different time. All right. So next up, I think I am to read verses 12 to 14. So this is Genesis chapter 1, verses 12 to 14. But God said to Abraham, be not displeased because of the boy and because of your slave woman. Whatever Sarah says to you, do as she tells you, for through Isaac shall your offspring be named. And I will make a nation of the son of the slave woman also, because he is your offspring. So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder along with the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. All right. It sounds like Abraham was a little on the fence as to what to do
Yeah.
until the Lord steps in. So what do we think about the Lord's response to everything that's going on and what he tells Abraham to do?
It's kind of surprised at the response, because earlier you tell her to go back, do whatever Sarah says you should do, blah blah blah. Why? We could have been gone. We didn't even. Why did we come back?
Right.
So I was a little surprised that they said let her go.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. What did you think about it, Misan?
It's a bit surprising that God did just be like, she'll go somewhere else. And it's not like she has a destination either.
Right.
Yeah.
She's wandering.
Yep. Doesn't say where. But what do you think about does it make you feel, I don't know if you all feel bad about it. I don't feel bad per se because of what he talks about is going to happen with the son, right? With Ishmael.
So he is getting a nation.
Right.
Right. He'll be the father of many descendants. But it is still Hagar's story gets, sadder and sadder before the Lord intervenes again. But I mean it's pretty disheartening that she's being first time she ran away.
Yep.
Now she's being kicked out
Jeez.
with some water and a little
And a
food
little bit of bread.
and sent her on her way.
I was like, man, come on, Abram, you could have did that when the three men came. You see how he was hurrying to put all his stuff together. And it's your son, bro. Give him a little more than a skin of water.
Yeah.
But nah, yeah, I think that it cushions the blow. I think it does two things. One, it cushions the blow of Hagar and Ishmael being forced to depart because you know what's going to happen. But it also shows, and I've been trying to find this. I don't know if you all have been trying to find it, but way back in 12, it says, I will bless those who bless you. And I've been trying to find those places where people are blessed because of Abram or Abraham. And I think that Ishmael is receiving that blessing because of Abraham. Do y'all see that? Or do you think that? Or do you think something else in terms of him becoming a great nation?
This is not the first time we're told this, right?
No.
Yeah. So is it because of Abraham specifically? I don't know. I just feel like maybe, because when we talked about Lot and Abraham, we were like, he got all the things out of Egypt, and then they listed the things that Lot had. You were like, well, did he get it from Abraham? And I'm like,
I was looking.
did he? Because Abraham seems a little stingy. He might give you some food to eat, but he don't be giving you too much.
He's stingy.
And I mean, we see that again. We see that here where he's sending his son and his baby mama away, and it's very little that he's providing for them.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe if because he knows that he'll become a nation, he's like, they'll be okay. Like God got them. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it still seems, and again, different times, just as you pointed out, Misan, but it still seems like a little,
Yeah.
you know. It just seems that way. But we're going to see what happens. It's interesting that Abraham rose early in the morning, so he wasn't going to mess around with it. He was going to get done what he needed to do, and putting it on her shoulder along with the child.
I also find that to be interesting that Abraham doesn't even interact with Ishmael here. Because, like we said, he is like 16 or at least a teenager. So, but he's putting all the stuff on Hagar's back rather than the young man's back.
You take this, you take that. Would you expect Abraham to do? Like, son, I want the best for you.
Yeah, like take care of your mother or something. Like,
Yeah.
something like, but they're treating him like a boy, like he's a little kid.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that they represent him as child when he's probably he's older than a child. I wouldn't consider a 16-year-old, 17-year-old a child.
Maybe it's the time as well. Like if you're living to 200, 16 is a baby.
But Abraham is still old at 100.
Yeah.
So it's not fully fixed, the timeline, but it's sort of fixed. But I guess 16 is still pretty young.
Yeah, I would think so. But the whole timing thing throws me off. Where what did we say in chapter 13 that? Well, what did I say? I won't give this to you all. That Sarai was a baddie because they said she looked good.
Yeah.
And she's probably what, 67, 60 at the time? 65?
Some old ladies.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, anything else that you all see there that you think we need to touch on, need to talk through?
No, I think we covered everything.
I will say chapter 13 and the end of chapter 13 is what makes me think of the fact that Ishmael becoming a great nation is sort of an offshoot of blessing. Because at that end of that verse, it says, because he is your offspring. So that's what helps me. That's what that's what allows me to make the leap, if you want to call it that, to just I will bless those who bless you.
Yeah.
But I can see what you all are saying as well. All right. Next dip.
Genesis chapter 21, verses 15 to 21. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the child under one of the bushes. Then she went and sat down opposite him a good way off, about the distance of a bow shot, for she said, let me not look on the death of the child. And as she sat opposite him, she lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God came to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what troubles you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Up, lift up the boy and hold him fast with your hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. And God was with the boy, and he grew up. He lived in the wilderness and became an expert with the bow. He lived in the wilderness of Paran and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt.
All right. So we see them on the journey. Things aren't looking good initially.
And Misan was just saying how he feels so small. Like she put him under this bush. She did this. It's like I don't know. Maybe he is little to them, like a
Maybe.
kid.
Maybe. I don't know what kind of bush it was, but so is there any doubt that she thought that they were in dire straits?
No.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me because I feel like the Lord told her what would happen to Ishmael back when she ran away,
Yeah.
right? Be a wild donkey of a man,
Yeah.
right? And everybody will be against him and he will be against everybody. That's me paraphrasing. So again, she's not Abram or Abraham. She's not counted as righteous, but it just seems like just lost all hope for what the Lord told her would become in a couple of years since, I mean, I guess it's not just a couple of years because he wasn't born yet, but in the 16, 17 years since the first time she ran away.
Yeah.
Do you all know Ishmael, what that means?
I don't actually.
The Lord hears, or God hears. That's what you got, Misan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you pick up how many times the Lord talks about hearing and who he talks about hearing in here? So while she is off crying and puts her son a bow shot away, which has got to be some distance, right? She's weeping, and the Lord comes to her and says that I have heard the voice of your son,
Yeah.
of your child. No, and God heard the voice of the boy.
Yeah.
So God hears Ishmael. What else happens in this interaction, in this I don't even want to call it a discussion. It just seems like it's the Lord speaking to her. What do you see in here and what do you pick up on?
Now that I know what his name means, it's makes more sense why it's God hearing from him. And maybe because he is Abraham's son, he has more understanding of who God is.
Maybe.
Because we aren't hearing necessarily that Hagar is calling out to God, but maybe Ishmael is, and that's why God hears him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just had another thought. Ishmael is circumcised. Does that make him? This is a question. I'm not being dogmatic, but does that make him part of this inside group?
Yeah. He's part of the blessing.
That's interesting. Part of me wants to say he isn't, because the line is supposed to go through Isaac, but he is circumcised.
And everyone in the household that was circumcised is a part of the blessing, right?
Yeah, they have to
And
be
they are
part of the
not,
group.
none of them are related to Abraham.
But Ishmael is not going to inherit the land.
No.
So that's an interesting question. I didn't think of that.
But God does promise him his own blessing.
Yeah, his own nation. So he's going to have to be somewhere, and we actually get told where he is. But that's interesting. That's interesting. I don't know. I might cut all that out. But it's just.
I also got a fun contrast between the two brothers. So you have Isaac who laughs, or his name is he laughs, and then Ishmael is God hears. So one is your ears, one is your mouth. But then he's crying here.
Yes.
God heard the boy crying.
Yes.
Which is the opposite of laughing. And it was because it was his laughing that got them sent out to begin with. And now he's crying.
Wow.
So,
and that's good, because I did read something that you're supposed to see the contrast between the two in this chapter. Right? You're supposed to see the contrast between the one Isaac, who is the one chosen, right, that the Lord's going to use, versus Ishmael, who isn't the chosen, but he's still Abraham's son. Yeah, that's interesting. That's some good writing right there. to bring out all of those contrasts and to show up. So the Lord speaks to Hagar, asks her what troubles you, tells her to fear not. What does the Lord do for her? Let me say this. One, he reminds her of what he already told her. But then we see that the Lord opened her eyes. So do you get the impression that there was a well always there and she just was overcome not to see it?
I think he just put it there.
I think it was just a
Yeah.
miracle, like it was
Yeah.
like, boom, I'm going to put a well there for you.
I don't know which one because I've read both of the options when I was going through, but I feel like putting it there just feels more right. Like him just putting it there makes it more, because I can't imagine that a mother who thinks her son is about to die isn't looking
Right.
for a way to like sustain him.
Yeah. I agree. It's like you need water. You're going to have your eyes peeled, for lack of a better term, for water, right?
Yeah.
So
And it's not like they said it's far off. It's like he opens her eyes and she sees
all
it right
better.
there.
Yeah. So, and then we get talked about. We get told of what happens to this Ishmael as he grows up.
Yeah.
He's going to be in Paran in the wilderness. Becomes an expert with a bow. Makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, right?
Does it?
He came up. He said God was with him.
Boom. That's
God
key.
was with him.
Yeah. God was with the boy.
I guess because we know that he's gonna have so much trouble, it's not as warm and fuzzy for me.
What do you mean by so much trouble?
Because he's gonna be a wild donkey of a man. Everybody's gonna be like he's gonna be basically fighting everyone at all times. So he's an expert at a bow, but it's not for fun. It's like because he has to be.
Yeah. I agree. But still. Yeah, I hear that. I get that.
But I do find it interesting that she got his wife from Egypt back from her people
Yep.
versus, I guess, where else could she go?
Right. I mean, that just makes sense, right? Because I think I read that she was heading down toward the same area where she ran away from before.
Mm,
So they're right at the edge of Canaan and Egypt, and we'll see Philistine in there somewhere. Um, so I don't think it's too far. It's not far fetched at all that she would go, and that's where she's from, so she'll
yeah,
be familiar with that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. I still think it's good because the whole thing that you want in that time, especially, and even now, right, is offspring and your family line and all of that stuff. So you know now that he has, and the Lord has basically promised, and that what the narrator is putting here is that yeah, he's got offspring. So much so, you remember in Joseph when we talked about Joseph going into slavery,
hmm
and we talked about who was meeting them there. It was the Ishmaelites.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they're not done here. They're going to continue,
hmm
which I I I think it's a cool thing to know.
Yeah.
And this wild donkey of a man does get married.
Yeah.
Settle down.
That's how you make your nations, right?
Yep, that's exactly how you make them. All right. Anything else from those several verses? All right. What's next?
Genesis 21, verse 22. At that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in all that you do. Now, therefore, swear to me hereby, God, that you will not deal falsely with me, or with my descendants, or with my posterity. But as I have dealt with you, but as I have dealt kindly with you, so you will deal with me and with the land where you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear.
Wow. So after all of that, we go from the birth to the dismissal, the departing of Hagar, and now we come back and we get to see old King Abimelech.
Yeah.
He's trying to get one over.
You think he's trying to get one over?
He's seeing everything Abraham is doing. He's like, that God guy he got is pretty good. If Abraham's on my team, then I think I'm gonna be good.
You think right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Abimelech has some reason to see this and to say this, right, Moyo?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, God came to him and basically told him you would die overtaking Abraham's wife. So yeah, I would want a treaty too.
Treaty too. Yeah. I mean, it's nothing like not being able to have kids, and all of a sudden, this dude over here prays for you, and you can have kids again, and you're just like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
I think this is a trope that we see in terms of just as we saw that God was with the boy, here we see that Abimelech says that God is with you in all that you do. And I'm going to go back to our first season, but we also saw that several times with Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
God was with him,
Mm-hmm.
and people would see that God is with him.
Yeah.
So it's just something about the Lord. And we don't even know, like when we looked at Joseph, we could see the things that he was doing that were being talked about. How he managed the household well and everything was, and that people would say that. We don't see exactly what's going on. Well, maybe we do, right?
What do you think we see?
I think we see the defeat of King Che,
Yeah.
right? The defeat of King Che, the prayer for Abimelech and his people. Those are the two big things that I can.
And also, Abraham is rich.
Yes,
Like
very
he
good
has
point.
servants and donkeys and everything. So
Yeah,
he is just rich. Like he probably is just as rich as Abimelech.
maybe. So yeah, it makes sense that he's going to see this. That God is
Yeah.
with him now.
I guess we also have to think about the fact that he's living on Abimelech's land. So Abimelech can see any growth. So let's say you gave him those sheep and now he has tenfold or whatever it is.
Right.
You can see everything that's going on with him because he's right there with
Right
you
there in the
on
land.
your on your land.
Yep. So, and it's funny to me because I had to look it up. Abimelech is like, all right, I'm gonna make sure that everybody's covered.
Mm-hmm.
Now, therefore, swear to me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me,
Mm-hmm.
with my descendants,
Yeah.
or with my posterity. I was like, posterity?
Yeah.
What is posterity?
Generations to come.
I'm like, man, he making sure he covered. Like, you will not mess with any of us.
That didn't work out.
What was that?
That didn't work out. That's a different chapter.
Different chapter, right? We'll get to that. And I guess
I mean, there is the clause that because I'm being kind to you, you will be kind to me. So yeah, as long that's the treaty, that's the covenant between the two of them is I'm loyal to you, you're loyal to me.
Yeah, but do you think that Abimelech showed it first with all that he gave? Because even though he, just as you said in the all right, so boom, even though he called Abram out for his lying, like what did you see in us to do this thing to us?
Yeah.
He still dealt like, take all this stuff, live in my land wherever you want to. You ain't gotta go.
Yeah.
Here's 100 pieces of silver. It's just take it and pray for us.
Yeah.
So I think that he may be thinking back to that time, like, look, I've dealt well with you guys. I'm just asking you to do the same to me.
Yeah.
And could Abraham have said anything else other than I will swear?
Could have said maybe. We'll see.
Open it. I do have a question
Uh,
about Abimelech. Because he doesn't say your God or a God. He says God, capital G.
I knew this was going to come up.
So he gives him a capital G, God, as almost like he's referring to God as his God as well.
Mm.
And he's very, you keep bringing up Joseph, he's very different from Pharaoh, who has his magicians and all these things.
Yeah.
Abimelech seems to be at the very least acknowledges that God is God, but I don't know if he's like able to be a part of the covenant.
I always struggle with that. I mean, me and Moyo have gone back and forth about in Jonah, right? Didn't we talk about that with Jonah?
I think we've talked about it a couple times.
Yeah.
But God here, Elohim God,
Yeah.
not like, what was the one we used to?
Not El, not added. And God is going to be El or Elohim. Most of the time, it's going to be Elohim.
But Elohim covers so many things, so we don't know.
That's where I tend to land.
Yeah.
He may be referring to this. I'm sure he is. Let me not say he may be. Let me know what you all think. I think that he's referring to the same God who spoke to him in a vision, but I don't think that he fully understands like Abraham does who this God is.
Yeah. I would say, just adding to that, that just because he knows God who spoke to him doesn't mean he got rid of his other gods.
Right.
Right. Doesn't mean that he doesn't still believe in all the other things that he believes in.
Right.
So he doesn't understand fully who this is. He just knows that he's powerful and that he's with Abraham.
Right. Yeah. So it's hard to say, but that's sort of where I land with these.
Okay.
And because I often wonder if you realized who this God is and you put away all your other gods, if your life wouldn't be different. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And would you need to rely on Abraham?
Right.
You would just, if you knew who God was, you would go to God.
Yeah. I'm with the same God that you are.
Yeah. But it's not their fault, though.
No.
Yeah.
Fault is so hard.
He doesn't have the opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's weird. I wouldn't say he doesn't have the opportunity. And the only reason I say that is because of Romans, right? And because of Melchizedek, right? Who we met, what was that? Chapter 15? No, after the battle.
Yeah.
That's chapter 14, I think. But so Melchizedek is a priest of Salem, right? Is a priest of God from Salem. So he somehow knows about this God and he's known by Abraham. Abraham gives a tenth, a tithe to Melchizedek. I don't think he would have given a tithe to Melchizedek had he not been aligned with the same God that he knew. Abraham is the he there. I also remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mario, but he calls him God Almighty, right? And I think that comes out several times. So Melchizedek, and then also, right, spoiler alert, Melchizedek's talked about in the Psalms, he's talked about in Hebrews, he's talked about it, I want to say even in Romans. So Melchizedek is someone who is aligned with God, but we don't know where he came from. That's why we titled that episode Cotton Eye Joe, Where Did You Come From? Where Did You Go? Right? Because he had no real beginning or end.
Yeah.
So to say that they don't have the opportunity, I think I don't know if I would go that far. What I would say is that they have a number of other influences that make them think that there were so many other gods. And that may be something that keeps them from looking to one single God who is the creator of all and who Abraham knows. I
Yeah.
don't know. Y'all, does that make sense to y'all? Does that work?
Yeah. And I was going back to how, like, Melchizedek was saying, like, how he described God. And he's saying God most high, possessor of heaven and earth.
Yep.
So it's like, yes, that's the one we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's just like God,
Right.
which is God that they use for a lot of things.
For a lot of things. So I tend to yeah, I think what we're saying here is we don't tend to think that Abimelech fully had the knowledge of this God that he was talking to Abraham about.
And I don't think it's impossible. Because God came to him, there is a chance that he could know.
Yeah. But again, To know him would be to say, I'm going, to me, to know him would be to say that I'm getting rid of everything else. I'm not serving any other gods.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
And all I can look back to is Melchizedek. He somehow knows and somehow seems to apprehend the fact to the point where he's giving blessings, like you said, about the Most High God.
Yeah.
So, cool. Good question, man. Appreciate you. Got to rant a little bit. All right. Anything else, 22 to 24? You all want to talk about, touch on?
Nope.
All right. I've got 25 to 31 of Genesis chapter 21. And they read as follows. When Abraham reproved Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized, Abimelech said, I don't know who has done this thing. You did not tell me, and I have not heard of it until today. So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a covenant. Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock apart, and Abimelech said to Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs that you have set apart? He said, these 7 ewe lambs you will take from my hand, that this may be a witness for me that I dug this well. In verse 31, therefore the place was called Beersheba, because there both of them swore an oath. All right. So they're making this treaty, but there's a snag.
Abimelech's men are stealing wells.
They stealing wells, y'all. They stealing wells.
Taken by force.
Yes. Yeah.
So that would presume a battle of some sort.
Maybe. I'm not sure if it was a full-fledged battle. But there was something where they were keeping them for however, via flocks or usage or something to keep them from using that well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what your thought is, Moya?
Yeah. And I mean, we don't know how long it was going on before Abraham approaches Abimelech.
Right.
Because Abimelech's response is like, hey, I don't know what's going on. Like, nobody told me until now.
Until now. You think Abimelech was being truthful?
I don't see why not. Abimelech hasn't lied to us yet. So I don't know.
True.
I can't.
Very good point.
I can't say he would lie now. And
Very good.
He's very quick to be like, I'm innocent until proven guilty. Like, I haven't done anything. And as soon as things are brought to him, he addresses it.
Yeah, this is true. If I'm going to take him at what we've seen about him thus far, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But part of me was like, this is a little get back.
I don't think so.
But that's just, the Lord got to work on me a little bit more.
Abimelech seems classy.
He seems like a chill guy.
He does.
Seems classy?
He does.
Really?
Yes, because when he took Sarah and God came to him, he's like, what did you see here that made you feel this type of way? Like, it seems like he was kind of posh. Like, my area is not like everybody else's area. Okay. So what did you see here that made you feel like we would do anything crazy with your girl? Like,
he also never slept with her.
The Lord kept him from sleeping with her.
Yeah.
Not that he didn't want to. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that though.
Yeah, I think he's a stand-up guy for right now.
If Boaz is Morris Chestnut.
Boaz is okay. Boaz and the Morris Chestnuts. Then who is Abimelech?
Is Abimelech.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
If you don't get it, you have to go back to our
Terrence Howard.
Mine. You know, mine. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you don't get that, you have to go back to our Ruth episodes. What is that? Season 2?
Yeah.
All right. So we see here that they actually do a covenant.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not said here, but I think the covenant is just as we talked about, where they took these animals, they cut them apart, both men walked through it. Do y'all think that?
Yeah, because Abimelech is confused. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I don't think he's confused about the covenant part. I think he's confused about the ewe lambs.
Yeah, I'm saying of the having to walk through it process, like to do the actual covenant. He's because he asked him like, why have you separated these?
So let me see. Which verse are you
That's
talking about?
29.
29?
30.
So in 28, so 27, so Abram took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a covenant. So that's where I think they made the covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 28, Abram set 7 ewe lambs of the flock apart. And Abimelech said 29. Abimelech said to Abraham, what is the meaning? So I think when 29, when he says, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs, he's talking about you
As
already gave me
additional?
stuff,
Okay.
right, for the covenant that we're going to make. Why are you giving me this other set of ewe lambs?
So what is the covenant then?
I think the covenant is the treaty between the two of them.
To leave the wells alone.
No, I don't. I don't. So the idea of them living peaceably with each other, right, and which would include leaving the well alone, which is why Abram brought it up. Like I dug it. It's let me use it. So I think the covenant is made for that. I think the ewe lambs are given for a complete different reason.
So the ewe lambs are to say, this is my well.
Yes.
And the covenant is to say, you're saying the covenant goes back to them making their initial, we should live peacefully.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I think. And so when they cut this, both of them have to walk through, as opposed to in chapter 15, when the Lord just went through, because this is a mutual covenant on both sides. And we
Okay.
know what the covenant means is to cut a covenant. Like if either of us breaks this covenant, what you see done to these animals will be done to me.
Okay.
Back
And I
in
think
Jeremiah.
it's the way the ESV is written, because when I read it in the Christian Standard,
Mhm.
it makes more sense what you're saying,
Did you
because
wanna
they
read it?
use but. Okay, so they said, so Abimelech, asked him to swear, and then it says, and Abraham said, I swear it. But Abraham complained to Abimelech because of the well that Abimelech's servants had seized. So it
Right.
makes it like all together.
Right.
But this ESV is like period, and then it seems like it's starting a new
Right.
idea.
And that threw me a little bit too. But when reading it, when I first read it, I was like, has some time passed and this well season has happened?
Mm-hmm.
But when I read through the commentaries, they were saying it as though during this discussion he's bringing up this well that had been seized.
Yeah.
So that word "when" is a little weird in there,
Yeah.
but I think it's all part of one discussion.
Yeah, I think the but helps it make more sense, because then it's like, okay, I will swear to you, but there's this issue that we have. And Abimelech says, wait, I didn't know we had an issue. I'm just hearing about it now.
Right.
So then that also makes sense to why Abimelech is able to ask. He doesn't know they have an issue. So when he's coming to say, I've been loyal to you, I've been committed to you, and all of these things, do the same, he's not aware of any issues that they
Right.
have.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Okay. Cool. And so the ewe lambs are given just as a witness for me that I dug this well. I read this and I was like, they just trading stuff. Because Abimelech gave him all the sheep and stuff before, and now he's giving them stuff back.
Yeah.
It's like, to be rich. One other thing that I'll mention is in some of the commentaries I read, they talked about the fact that Abimelech bought Phicol, the commander of his army, and that just talks to the fact that Abraham is now a national power, so to speak. He carries some cachet with him now. It's not just them trying to survive. It's now there's some politics and relationships that are going to be forged, and people want to forge them with them, which gets back to what we said initially that yeah, Abraham's just got a lot of stuff. You called him out, Misan, as being rich, and yeah, we're seeing that in this
Yeah.
whole treaty.
Yeah.
I'll make a treaty with people that
Yeah, he's a king. He's not just gonna
yeah,
a shepherd on the side of the road. He's not.
right. I want a treaty with you. I ain't got nothing. Oh, I can just come take your stuff from the king.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are getting along for now.
Yeah.
I would also add, in 31.
Uh
I don't know, were we done with the?
no.
Yeah, so in 31, they named the place Beersheba, which is the same place Hagar went.
Yep. Yeah.
The Bible doesn't necessarily have to be chronological. So Moses named the place Beersheba because of the wells that they dug. When God opened Hagar's eyes, she saw a well. We did say that.
Mm-hmm.
God put it there. But it may have already been there when Moses, that might be the wells that Moses
May
dug.
have been the ones.
So
With
maybe
Abraham,
Yeah, we keep saying
because y'all keep saying
I
Moses.
don't know how
Somebody
I
got
Moses.
Misan.
Abraham dug.
Yeah.
So maybe she was, I mean, she was crying and sad, so maybe she just didn't see the wells in the distance.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm gonna put a
Because
map
it
in.
is called Beersheba,
It is.
place of the wells,
It
well of
is.
the oaths.
And I'm gonna put a map in, and I only think Beersheba is a region. So I guess you could have gone to two different places, but it is interesting that the well that they're talking about here that had been built, we don't know when, is one that Moses, I just did it again, one that Abraham put together. We must have to go to Exodus after we finish Genesis.
Y'all really want to.
Oh man, that's a good one. Okay, I can see that. Anything else on those 6 verses? If not, let's finish it up.
All right. Genesis chapter 21, verses 32 to 34. So they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, rose up and returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God.
Mm.
And Abraham sojourned many days in the land of the Philistines.
So we end this. It's a nice tidy close to this segment, following the birth of Isaac.
Everybody lived happily ever after.
Happily ever after. Psych. So I found it interesting. I don't know. Let me know what you all think. That they returned to their land of the Philistines. So it's almost like Abraham's land of claim on this location, almost because they leave his land. It almost sounds like.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Did y'all pick up on that?
Abimelech and Phicol had to leave. They're
Mhm.
in Abraham's territory.
Right.
It
So
It's also interesting that they did go there in the first place.
yes, I mean, like we talked about, his political power at this point. He's got some cachet with him. What do you make of the tamarisk tree and what happens after it?
I couldn't find anything about that tree that made it significant or why that tree or what it meant, if it meant anything. So I just assumed it was just a tree, maybe
Right.
like a marking similar to the altars
Right.
that were built before.
Yep, that's what I took as well. That yeah, there's a tamarisk tree is a special type of tree that grows in that area. But I think the bigger point is that it's almost like you said, marking it as an altar, and then we see what we've seen before. Whenever they get to a new place, right, they call on the name of the Lord, which we've understood to be worship, right, thus far in Genesis. Um, we get one other name for the Lord.
Yeah, the everlasting God.
Yeah, El Olam.
Yes.
How does that hit you when you think of that? And when you think of everything that's going on with Abraham, with the sign, with the promise, and you get to this point, and the Lord is called the everlasting God. How does that hit you? Or does it hit you? Or it doesn't hit you at all? Or Chris, this crazy question, what are you even trying to get at?
How does it hit you? I don't know. I feel like, oh, maybe it's not known to this point, but it's known to us because we are Christians and we know God as the everlasting God. But I guess for it to be stated here, which it would be the first time it's being stated in the Bible,
Yeah.
it's just significant to Abraham and all those around him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is because this everlasting God, El Olam, is speaking of his being a God of eternity. So what's happening now is just the starting point for what is ultimately going to become of Israel, and what really is ultimately going to become of the entirety of history as it plays out in this creation that he made. Right. So I think to think of the call that has the accompanying promise of a seed and land, and then to be like, you are an everlasting God. That means that if I believe you as El Elyon, God Almighty, if I believe you as the possessor, the creator of heaven and earth, then what you promised is going to come forth, which we see here in the birth of Isaac. We know that this is going to go on forever, however you want it to carry out. Right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be here today, gone tomorrow. You're everlasting God.
Yeah. And I just Googled this tree because I'm like, why is it said right after this tree?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently this tree is a very invasive type of plant.
Mm-hmm.
And it also thrives in places where other plants wouldn't.
Right.
So it wouldn't just die off in a drought because we know they have a lot of famines, a lot of droughts.
Yes.
This is a plant that would survive through all of
Yep.
that
Yeah.
and would probably thrive because it's gonna invade everywhere.
Yep.
And he's using that as a marking for his altar to God.
Yep.
So it should stand, right?
Should
The
stand.
same way.
Yeah. Oh, so anything else on those last couple verses?
No, I
No.
think that was good.
So we like to end here with a little bit of an invitation. And I think what we can do with this is we can pull from the fact that this Lord, this God is an everlasting God. He's the one who carries out his promise. And the point of the promise that he made to Abraham now, Abraham then, is the fact that he's going to make him a great nation, with the idea that this nation would ultimately bring forth the person that we all are looking for, and the one that would crush the serpent's head, in Jesus. The idea of this nation was that it would be a nation unto the Lord that would cause all other nations to look up and say, I want what they have. And ultimately, that would bring folks to God. But because of who this nation is, because of the way they worked, and the plan was always with God understanding how they would be, that you would get to Jesus. So Jesus is the point of all of this. He's the end all of all of this. Um, and so that's why we say, and we end these podcasts with just giving an invitation, understanding who Jesus is, that he's the one who died for your sins, that he's the one who was buried in a tomb, and he's the one who was raised on the third day. That's what I like to call the content of the gospel. And if you believe that, if you believe that Jesus is the one who did those things, then you are saved. Then you are not like Abimelech, who has knowledge of a God that he doesn't fully understand. You understand what this Lord, what the everlasting God, what El Elyon has done, in the fact that he has made a way for all of mankind to have eternal life through his son. The way that that happens is by believing. So we urge you here at Generational Scriptures to believe. To believe in this Jesus, to believe he is who he says he is. And then once you believe, we urge you, and maybe we need to get into this next as well. We urge you to get discipled. Belief and believing in the gospel is sort of like the entry, but then you have to continue to grow in who this Lord is. Much like we've seen Abraham. We've seen Abraham continue to grow. Not to say he's made forward steps all the time. He's taken a couple of steps back, but we've seen him grow more and more, it seems, in his faith.
Yeah.
And so we want that for you. So that's our invitation. Well, thank you again for sitting in. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And I think that's it. So for
Yep.
Generational Scriptures, we out of here. Deuces.
Bye.